Welcome everybody to the VOD review of the developer commentary. This was produced on twitch.tv/Gears of War. It is their developer commentary on October the 17th. I'm going to pause the questions, I'll play their answer, and I'll give my own take on it. The reason I'm doing this is I know they responded to the video we made. Recently I made a video about how Gears of War has changed in skill. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on the channel called Gears of War and the Skill Gap. That way, once you've seen that, you'll understand where I'm coming from. So without further ado, we'll get into the video. The hat's gone on. One take, everyone knows the rules. I don't have all the data this company has. I don't have a degree in game design. I don't have any experience in the game industry, but what I do have is game experience from playing a huge variety of games, and I've played since 2006. I just like to give my spin on it and my take and maybe see which direction the team is going, and also show you the questions because not everyone has an hour to sit through. However, this might be longer than an hour. If your attention span is short, do what I do, grab yourself 2 coffees because we're going in.
So this week, obviously a big update came out to 1.5.
Yes.
Had a bunch of fixes in it.
If you want to know what Title 1.5 addressed and updated, again, I've ran through that on my channel, so check that out. Title 1.5.
Edition of the week, we have the 4 base ones, and obviously we have the Terminator Pack 2 as well. Terminator Horde event, where you actually fight a ton of T-800s
and the Rev 9s. And the Rev 9.
And it, like, with other kind of, like, robotic units.
They've announced a character pack that costs $20, and that's a Terminator. A Horde event where you kill Terminators. As a Gears player, that just does nothing for me. I really hate the Terminators in the game. They have no place in the game. They don't fit thematically. It's just a paid promotion. I feel like if you're going to get a paid promotion for Gears of War, there must be other companies out there, more dark, gritty companies or films or whatever, that want to be in your game. I just dislike the whole Terminator thing that's going on.
That you guys wanted to see Foundation, so we're going to add Foundation. And I think probably one more map. Not this Tuesday, but one more map coming up probably, certainly before the next operation. We're going to add another classic map.
Is that we're introducing one map, and we're going to see if there's a bunch of people who suddenly come out that we're working on, like, whoa, what the hell? I don't want to be playing a Gears 4 map in Gears 5. And if that happens, then, like, obviously we'll start having a bigger discussion about it.
First of all, I don't have any problem with this team or anything like that. I don't want this video to come across as, oh, I'm going to roast every single answer. I'm sure they've got some good answers. I actually like the fact they do this developer stream and they talk. It's a good thing that we can even look at this footage and chat to them and get some interaction. So props to them for doing this. The map Foundation back into the game. I don't really have any problem with that. It's just an extra map. It's not my most favourite map of all time. It's interesting that they've gone with Foundation because it's a competitive map that people have seen before, I'm sure. You know, how is it going to play out with different Gears 5 weapons on it? Is it just going to have the Gears 4 weapons on it, etc.? We'll have to see if they change it or not. People come out of the woodwork and say they dislike the map's been in the game. We'll have another chat. But I feel like that's not necessarily true, and I could be wrong. Because I feel like a lot of people have come out of the woodwork and said, we don't like X or Y, and it hasn't been changed. And I feel like the team definitely has a clear direction of which road and path they want to take, and I think they're going to go down that road regardless. I will say that I don't like the idea of Gears 4 maps being in Gears 5. Not because I don't want new maps. I think we all want new maps. We're all bored of it. But I think that the maps are getting put in just because their players are bored and they need new content to stop people moaning. I feel like if this was planned, like if they thought, you know, the maps that we've got in the base game aren't going to be enough, we're going to need some maps in future, I feel like they could have picked different maps from previous franchises and put them in the game. I can't imagine that this is choice they originally envisaged. Because the reason I say that is I feel like they put the Gears 4 maps in the game so competitive players had some maps to play that they knew worked fundamentally. I don't think they expected them to go into the main game. I think they thought that Gears 5 would have enough maps and content that people wouldn't be bothered and would be okay with it. However, it's become evident, as if you're a multiplayer only guy, there just isn't enough maps. And this is one map going in the game. It says we could get another one in another update or another tour. So it's a long time for another map, right? So I was developing this, and this was my only option. Like, my hands were tied behind my back. I just put all the maps in the game. The reason for that is if a load of people come out of the woodwork and say, I hate Gears 4 maps in Gears 5, they're going to say it about Foundation, they're going to say it about Harbour or whatever map you've decided to put in. The answer's really not going to change, so I feel like just put them all in, get some players back, put out an announcement, three maps return to Gears, get some positive PR for yourself, get a little bit of breathing room because you need it. There's a lot of hate, there's players dropping off, and if I'm developing it, I'm saying just put the maps in the game. It can't be worse. It can't be worse than it is now.
To have the refined Marksa added to the game.
Yes, Marksa changes coming next Tuesday.
Marksa changes.
We saw him in action today.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about what it is because I know enough to be dangerous, but not enough to be 100% correct.
Yeah.
So
first thing to note, marks are change. Good. I think that the marks is really, really strong. I think that's primarily due to the line of sight that the maps give, and the fact that it's a side weapon. People don't really fight over it. You typically just pick a markser up for free, and when something is given to you for free, it always has to be slightly weaker than a power weapon that you fight over. Maybe these people don't know the specific values and they don't want to mislead people by saying it now takes 3 shots to kill rather than 2 or whatever, right? They're erring on the side of caution because they don't want to say something. But I feel like if you introduce your absolute opening of your dev stream with the markser has been changed, please tell us the specific details.
Are hearing all sorts of feedback around ping issues. I know that we've spoken with you guys. I personally get tagged on the regular on Twitter in them. One thing I will say you can help a lot is when I ask you to send me the exact time and mode and your ping, like even a screenshot would be helpful. Just saying every time, I understand your frustration, but that doesn't help with the investigation.
People, when they give feedback, they just go, bro, it's lagging, fix it. They don't include screenshots, they don't include the server, the time of play, the game mode, and yeah, you do need to include that as that's going to help the devs. But what I will say is the whole attitude of, yeah, I know you're tweeting me, cool, but tag some information. It comes off a little bit blasé. I'd like to see them be even that. These guys aren't the guys that coded the game. These guys aren't the guy that made the problems. I understand that they're the fall guys. But I feel like rather than being like, I understand you're annoyed, but cool, bro, tag some more information. I feel like they should be saying, we are truly sorry that for 40 days your experience has been awful. It's not acceptable. We're definitely going to be working on fixing that. It's an absolute top priority, more than the tour, more than the skins, more than the characters coming out, because ultimately, if the game isn't playable on a fundamental level, even from like a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense. If people aren't playing your multiplayer because it's super laggy, they're not playing the game to buy and spend coins. So yeah, I'd like to see them talk about how pings are an absolute top priority and be a little bit more apologetic.
We're looking at the melee, and that's the topic of conversation right now. We're also looking at the boom and how we can improve the fact that it seems to be not working as intended.
For this one, it says that they're going to look into the melee. I feel like just explain it. Just explain it to the viewers, explain it to the people. Like, all right, we're looking into the melee, the lunge, the lock on, the commando, because it doesn't sort of fit inside our original design philosophy of the game. We're going to look at probably nerfing it. That's quite a priority, or it's not a priority. I'd like to sort of get an idea rather than just say we're looking into it, because that just could mean anything. It could mean, yeah, we're looking into it and we don't care. It could mean, no, we're sitting the team down and we're going to figure it out.
This isn't making an excuse. This is me educating you guys on the process of how our intention and our desire is to be able to roll out as many updates and tweaks to the game as we possibly can. The list of updates that are going into TU2 is a good size list.
So here is an interesting point, which I already know about because I've been doing this for a long time, but some people may not know. Basically, what they're saying is that, let's keep it simple, you create an update and you then send it to Microsoft and they say, all right, let's check it. What does it do? You know, does it add something we don't want? Does it impact a console? Does it have a bug where, oh god, it's making the GPU run in the menu at 100%, it's going to fry the console? They check it all for quality control. It takes time, and then once it's said okay, it then is certified and then it gets released. This is why they have already, like they said, they've already thought about stuff that wants to be in Title Update 2 because they're having to plan for certification. The problem with consoles in general, and it's a reason why I've really enjoyed PC games since I've switched, because PC games have their own client, their own patcher and launcher. Some like companies like Path of Exile, they can do their own update in half an hour. They can take the realm down, update half an hour, and then boom, they go, oh no, that update fixed it, but it also created this other issue. Boom, let's fix that, update that, and you can get a string of 10 updates in the night. However, with an Xbox game, you're stuck in this certification process. This means that for me, it's actually like they do listen to the feedback, but they're also already going along a road that they're already paved, right? They know what's going to be in Title Update 2, they know what bugs are going to be in it, and it creates an issue where Title 1.5 comes out and the smokes are super overpowered now because they've nerfed the flashes, for example. Then they've got to look at that in Title 2, then that affects other things, and it can be quite a slow process with updates. That's why I personally lose interest in the franchise, because I know there is their hands are tied behind their back, and there is just a set amount of time that takes updates. You're not going to get an update every evening, so you are, for a large portion of time, going to be playing a game with something broken. My point is that, yeah, updates take a long time on this game. They're not always going to be flying out daily, and you've got to understand that, unfortunately.
I see someone here commenting on losing points while winning and being MVP, solutions for the rank. So we talked to the dev team about that, and the volume of contacts, interactions that we've had with you guys they've gone down significantly. Like to the point where I can't remember the last time I got one.
I don't want to appear like I'm being critical for being critical's sake, but again, what it feels like watching this is the team go, oh, someone's had a bug where they're MVP and they lost rank. Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. Maybe there's an issue with it adjusting you too slowly, too quickly or something. That shouldn't be happening. We'll flag it. I don't know how to word this. There just doesn't seem to be that genuine, yeah, that should never be happening. That is really, really odd. That's not an experience we want somebody to have. Our ranking system should ideally be like this. Like when we push the update, we want it to ideally rebalance over like 15 games. So if you haven't played 15 games, then probably play some more. Maybe it takes a little bit more time to rebalance. It seems like they're just kind of going, yeah, that shouldn't be happening. We're going to flag it. We're going to pass it on to the team, which is great. But for someone like me, I was basically Masters and then I was Bronze League. And like, because every single time I won a game, I was demoted a full tier for some reason, which feels like a bug. So even if they have fixed it, there is still players out there that maybe it's been fixed now, but I've lost all that time and progression, and there doesn't seem to be like a sincerity of, we're sorry that you spent 40 days grinding for a rank and it's gone. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm expecting too much. They're limited on time. They're PR people, they're the face of the company, you know what I mean? Like, I expect too much.
Why aren't the new Terminator characters included in the Ultimate Edition? The Terminator characters were actually not included in the Ultimate Edition. The Halo characters were in the Ultimate Edition. The Terminator characters, the first wave of Terminator characters, Sarah Connor and the T-800, were added as anyone that played I want to say the first
10 days.
10 something until it's available for a variety of contract reasons and stuff like that. So we weren't able to come out and say, oh, by the way, there's more characters coming, blah, 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 that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of that's the case.
I really want to add to that as well, because like we totally understand why some people, you know, that you read our earning characters post and you feel like, you know, it said all characters are coming like free, etc. Post-launch. And we did call out that Terminator and Halo were kind of exceptions to that, and obviously you guys didn't know at the time that it meant there was another Terminator pack coming, and we totally get how that makes you feel.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest with you, just to be frank, if it was under our control, we would have probably talked about the fact there would be another pack of that nature in some way. But as Dane said, there's contracts, there's a whole bunch of things to consider that means that we couldn't even say there was another pack.
First real example of modern games. Like, get used to it because this won't go anywhere. These guys here have just stated that if it was under their control, they would have explained that there were more Terminator and Halo, more Terminator characters coming, because they don't want to mislead fans. I'm not saying these guys are bad people at all. Please don't take it that way. What I'm saying is they're the fall guys. Like, so what ends up happening is this: people pay $80, I've read, to $90, I think is in Australia. People pay up to $90 to get the Ultimate Edition. Not every single person does full research about Game Passes coming out or anything. They just see the game and they think, right, that's my favourite franchise. I've loved it. I'm going to get the Ultimate Edition of Gears 5. It's got some cool looking Terminator skin in it, and it's got some Halo skins. Now, for me personally, I don't think they fit thematically in the game, and they shouldn't be in there, but whatever, right? They're in the game. So they're in the game, and now these Ultimate Edition players, people that have forked out a lot of money, are feeling ripped off because all of a sudden, their one unique thing was, I can go in the multiplayer and be like, look at me, I spent hard-earned cash and I've got this character that no one else has got. That's a different issue for a different topic, but you know, they've got the character. Now all of a sudden the one reason to purchase the game is kind of negated and limited because people that played in the first 10 days basically got all the characters as well. Anybody that played the Game Pass for $1 also gets all the Halo characters. So the people that paid $90 basically get the same skins as the people that play $1. And now, to top it off, the Terminator style skins are coming in. So even people like me, or the Ultimate Edition person that played early and has the content that other people don't have, now all of a sudden it doesn't even matter that I went out of my way to play early, because you can now buy them through $20. So to me, like, this is modern gaming in the sense that it doesn't matter. Their hands are tied. They even said it. If they could have spoke about it, if they could have done anything, they would have let you know, like, basically, don't waste your money because there'll be another character pack coming. But they can't because there's contracts, there's money men above that say, yeah, get these out, sell these copies, and then we'll release another one that you can buy. Like, just feels really, really shitty that is the way the franchise has gone, because to me, Gears of War was this carefully crafted environment with only certain things that fit getting in. And now we're just in a situation where basically, and it sounds ridiculous, I'm being a bit facetious, but there's like hush money where it's like, we're going to put a Terminator in the game and then we're going to release another pack, but in the contract, don't say anything. Like, there's big money on the line, just shut up and then we'll release it again. And ultimately, when things like that exist, me or you sat here on YouTube getting frustrated, it doesn't matter. The contract is probably just so much money that they just went, yeah, we'll take some PR backlash for it because it's worth it.
With this curb stomp, Liam, you're supposed to stomp their head in, not off.
Yeah. So our animation team kind of doing a new take on an old classic sort of thing. It's something that we know, like, you want to see the classics, and there maybe we might get a chance to make it like pop more. I don't want to promise anything. So we hear your feedback on it. It's just meant to be a new cool take, and our animation team puts a lot of love into everything. So who knows? But yeah, we know what you're saying.
Okay, so we touched on the curb stomp. My opinion, My opinion is TC seem to change things that just don't need changing. They seem to give themselves a lot of work and stress and make problems that shouldn't be there. If you put the old curb stomp in the game, it's going to be quicker to put in the game. It's going to be more liked and received because everyone knows the classic curb stomp. And it's just going to give you better PR. You know, you could do any sort of PR. Get Stomping on Saturday as we release the classic curb stomp free to all players. And then people go, you know what, I do love a good curb stomp, I might sign in. Instead, they do this new take on everything like the Omen and, you know, flashes and, you know, like so on and so forth. I feel like there's just absolutely no need to change the curb stomp. It just feels like change for change's sake. I'm all for change. Sometimes a game has to evolve and change, but sometimes just make the job easy for yourself. Just put the old curb stomp in. It's simple. And don't sell it. Don't sell it. Like, come on, like... You know what really frustrated me about that whole curb stomp thing for sale? Is that they made the new curb stomp the one that was free, and the older style curb stomp is the one that paid. And the reason I feel like they've done that, and I could be wrong, but it feels like a proper marketing move that older players feel more attached to the older curb stomp because it's what they grew up using and playing and loving. So they thought, give them the new curb stomp, but they've still got that emotional attachment to the old one, and then you're going to probably really want it and buy it.
This is a broad question. What's to do with microtransactions? I feel like I want a little bit more granularity around that.
I mean, I think you talk about why they exist.
Yeah, I was saying, if you want to talk about why microtransactions exist, we talked about this last week. Microtransactions fund post-release content. If you figure everyone's like, but I already paid $60 for the game and I should get a bunch of other stuff. It's like, okay.
All right, I'm not going to pause it there. I really don't like that. Like, that just really rubs me up the wrong way. Some guy has just asked a question, you know, why are microtransactions in the game? And his response is to basically mock the guy's voice and do some sort of uninformed idiot impression of, oh, why do microtransactions exist? I just paid $60. Yeah, too fucking right he paid $60, right? $60 should get you an absolute enormous amount of content for free and in a reasonable way to unlock. It makes it sound like it's physically and fundamentally impossible to do post-release content without MTX. I know MTX are going to be here forever, and they're the absolute bane of my existence with modern gaming. Gears of War had maps, they didn't sell skins. Gears of War 2 had post-release content, they didn't sell skins. Gears 3 had post-release content. Yeah, they sold a few skins, but when the post-release content came out, it was Ram Shadow. Ram Shadow came out in Gears 3. It had a 6 character pack attached to it, a chocolate weapon skin set for all your guns, and it had a 3-hour campaign. And the skins only cost like £1, and they really weren't in your face. There wasn't a shop, there wasn't all this. It was kind of like you had to kind of go out of your way on the dashboard to find your skins. And they did post-release content. You can do post-release content without absolutely milking your fans. And the fact that he just goes and mocks his voice, like, maybe he goes on to explain himself, but that just really, really pisses me off and rubs him up the wrong way. There's a guy there that loves the game. He loves the game so much that he's come out and he's come into the developer stream and he's asked a question like, man, I just paid $60 for the game. Like, why are all these MTX? And his response is, oh, bro, like, oh, you think you should get everything? Like,
The future.
I feel like if you create a franchise or a game that is just so fun to sign in and play, you just want to sign on and play it, you will play it until that game is basically dead, because every time you sign in, you have fun, you smile, you enjoy it, you laugh. And that's what we want in life. So when you have a game that is fundamentally designed to be fun, it doesn't matter that there are no skins. It doesn't matter that there's, quote, not enough content. You will find your own fun in the game. I played Gears 1 forever. It's still fun. I don't need an MTX to make that fun. Extra DLC is nice, but it's not needed. Halo 3, they didn't sell skins. Imagine how much money Halo 3 would have made if they'd have sold skins for your sniper. Of, you know, an FB Walshy sniper, all these type of things. A TS snipe down, or, you know, all these type of things. Yeah, they could have made an absolute killing. Yeah, I'm sure they're very, very frustrated that they didn't, because looking back on it, it's a huge chunk of money they lost. But The games were played for a long time, even without a pipeline of content, because the fundamental game was fun. People are still playing COD 4, Halo, Gears 1, because the base game was so fun. As I said in my video, I played Gears 1 in 2019, and there was 150 people that played a ranked match. In 13 years' time, do you think 150 people will be playing Gears of War 5 ranked execution because the pipeline of content was so good? No, the core game isn't fun enough. And that question really rubs me up the wrong way, because the way he handled it was just like...
Now that's in no comment on...
I do understand that you see a lot. I feel like a lot of things where people are asking for help or giving feedback, it gets ignored. I appreciate that your personal accounts are just that, but I feel that Coalition Gears account could respond much more.
I'll give my response and I'll play their response. They've just asked about... I'll give my response and then I'll play their response. For me, when I have interacted with the Coalition, there's been absolutely no response. I got one reply on Reddit. That was it. And I've tweeted a lot and tagged and asked and done questions. For me, I understand that you can't respond to everybody. I'm not an idiot. You can't respond to everybody. And you can't think, oh, this guy's more important than that guy, I'll respond to him. But you could use like the Gears 3 notice board system. If anybody remembers it, it would be like about the Phoenix Rising coming up this week, and it would have polls. You could have polls inside the game. They often do polls on Twitter and Reddit and other areas, and I feel like that's not really targeting the people that are actually playing the game. There should always be a poll outside of game, because some people like me have stopped playing the game and would still answer the question as to like what would bring them back. But there also should be a poll inside of the game so you know what people are playing. Imagine you signed into Gears and there was a notice board, you brought it up with the X key and menu, and then you're like, oh, there's some polls here, you know. Do you enjoy the current roster of maps? Left trigger, no. Right trigger, yes. Blah, blah, blah. I feel like if you're not going to be able to respond to every tweet, Reddit message, which you can't, you need some sort of external thing. So what I would do is I would employ somebody or have somebody do a job that when a tweet gets answered and asked, you then have a second Twitter account and it's called TC Gears Help Answered, and you follow it. And all that does is that tweets out question, boom, the question that was asked, and then boom, the answer. And then we can go and go, right, I'm not interested in following 18 personal accounts. I'm not interested in all of this. I just want to know questions that have been asked and answered, and then we can read through them. And then if I thought, oh, I've got a bug with my rank, I can go through the Twitter feed and go, right, this has been asked and answered. What, for me, when I've tried to interact with the Coalition, there's like 28 different personal accounts with some that tweet about gameplay one day and questions and answers one day, then the next they don't. And it gets really hard to find what's been hotfixed, what's been updated, what's going on, because there's just way too much to sort of sift through.
With that, it is looked at. Typically, usually when people tag Coalition Gears, they tag Gears of War, and they end up tagging, depending on character count, Liam or myself or Rod or Ryan or various people like that. And you know, we go through and we do try to answer them, and we do try to have the dialogue.
A lot of the feedback is also design orientated, which all we can do on that stuff is kind of pass it through. Or if we have an explanation behind something, we can give you a like context or explanation.
But if someone comes back and says like, I'm trying to think of a design feedback. The Lancer's too strong, fix the Lancer. That's like we don't have the time to go back and respond to every tweet. It says something like, hey, thanks, we'll pass it along. If it's design feedback, we do track all that. We have a lot of analytics tools where we can go and look at the volume of conversation, we look at the sentiment of conversation.
Yeah, we can see a lot more than just Twitter
and that does get shared back into the team. And then when it's design-oriented conversations, those are then our designers.
Sorry, I gotta rewind that because look at that body range. Is that not quite? I feel like that was a pretty big body range. Developer clip, like, is that not pretty? Did he not miss that shot? And then it also bodies him. Like,
those are then our designers have.
No, if I start
discussions
speaking
around
on it,
what they
mate, I'm
wanna
going to get
do.
myself in trouble.
And then what we do is we say, hey, we see this is a big topic of conversation, and then A, are you going to change it? Are you going to tweak it? Or are you going to keep it as is? If you're going to keep it as is, can we get a little bit more context around why, so we can explain to you guys? Or those are the times usually we bring Node on, so he can provide context on the design, because it would rather come from him, as he is the one who is responsible for leading that area of the business when it comes to multiplayer. So that's kind of how it is. I hope that answers your question a little. Better skill-based matchmaking in the future. That is something the team is looking at, and it has been flagged as a thing. They are aware of it. Well, and they are looking at it. It is one of those ones where the system appears. There are times when the system appears to be working as intended, but it's actually not. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out why, when something is happening, if you know 2 + 2 is equal 4, but you keep seeing people talking about a 5, then you start going.
Okay, so that's kind of an interesting point. I'm kind of different in the sense that, and this might as well, even to OG veterans, this might not be the answer you like. I'm not sure. I've never really spoke about this publicly. I don't like skill-based matchmaking. The reason I don't like skill-based matchmaking is because every game becomes an enormous sweat fest. Sometimes, when I sign into a game, I do want to play for my rank. I do want to play for a personal goal and have a bit of a competitive match where people are all in the same lobby to try a win. But I like the fact that some games there's a guy better than me, which, let's be honest, never happens because I'm the greatest player on earth. But, sometimes it does happen occasionally. I have an off day. And sometimes I do have games where I'm just much, much better than the other people. And I have a bit more freedom in the lobby to maybe not cross-lancer every single time and call out. Maybe I can do a bit of a waddle and have a shotgun fight and take it a little bit more easy. And yes, to the lesser skilled players, that might not be enjoyable to get your ass absolutely handed to you. And you might want fair matchmaking. But I find it very difficult to enjoy skill-based matchmaking because every game becomes this enormous sweat fest. And I'm okay with a sweat fest if that's what I'm signing up for. I'm going on to GB, I'm playing ESCA or something, and it's a sweat fest. Yeah, I'm okay with that. When I play ranked on Gears, I sometimes think to myself, I do want to just, flex a little bit, show off a little bit, have a little bit of fun. It's like FIFA or basketball or whatever. If you go and you pick 2 teams and you pick 2 4-star teams and you get matched against each other, it's just rating you off the 2 4-star teams. You then play, and I might be much better than the other guy, so I might not have to pass it about and do so much sweaty defending. I might be able to just go online and try score a few long shots and have fun. But if I'm in division play and I'm always playing against somebody good, I will be against a player that passes the ball around when he goes 1-0 up for 45 minutes because he wants the win. I dislike skill-based matchmaking, and actually it's a massive thing that maybe I need to talk about because every single modern game now has skill-based matchmaking. I don't actually think it's that good. I don't think it's that much of a positive thing to be always in a sweaty game.
Okay. The aim assist, I just saw that now, and I'm just going to address that. That's a perfect example of a design thing that we've flagged to the team, and Ryan has indicated that they're looking at a toggle, and that has been passed on to feedback. And when we have an update on timing or if or what, we will let you guys know.
Answer about aim assist. They said that that is basically a game design issue, that's something designed. That I'm pretty sure. Let me just reread that just to check. So again, they said it's a design thing, and they're looking at a toggle. Now, I keep hearing this mysterious toggle answer. What is the toggle? Is the toggle for me, the player? Do I get to turn aim assist on or off? Why would I turn it off? Ask yourself that. If this aim assist is giving me free kills and letting me hit things that I probably shouldn't hit, and other people are going to have it on, why would I turn it off? And if it's a toggle for ranked matchmaking why would it have it on? Why should aim assist be in ranked? So I don't really understand what this toggle is meant to be. Maybe somebody can explain it to me.
We're not doing something that is, let's use Onyx Guard as a perfect example. Onyx Guard was meant for people that only 100%ed the tour and 100%ed the, and got the rank in general. You know, we know that there are a lot of Onyx Guard fans out there, and we wouldn't want to gatekeep that character behind, such a loved character, behind something that's so, wouldn't be done by a vast majority of people.
Yeah, we already have like things we know we want to do change in how we do Tour for Tour 2.
Yeah.
And we're having further discussions based on your feedback about ways we can potentially improve it. Yeah. Like, we know what you like and what you don't like about Tour, and we do think Tour is a great system. It's just we're going to learn, and we're going to find out what you like and what you don't.
Okay, so quite a long answer there. I probably have chopped that up. But basically what they were saying was, for the people that complete the tour too quickly, if loads of people complete it too quickly, they might make it more difficult. If nobody completes the tour, they might make it easier. And they understand what we know and dislike about, what we like and dislike about the tour, and they've learnt a lot. So my problem with the tour is it pulls me out of my experience. I want to be able to unlock stuff through my own play. I'm okay with doing the odd challenge, but making me do 200 waves of Horde, I'll throw the picture up. This is to unlock the new character. To do all of these challenges that are on screen right now, that's way too much. That on top of a tour of duty that they say has been designed to be completed by the average player in 3 months. What this means is basically you complete the tour of duty, you play for 3 months. 3 months is a long time to play a game, let me add. 3 whole months. You play a game for 3 months, you finish and you've got all the characters and all of the stuff unlocked. Now when that new tour comes out, probably a lot of the tour is going to be like, get executions with Lanny, get kills with Kate, get horde mode kills, do this, do that. They're going to run out of interesting things to do, and there's going to be a lot of repeaters, I feel like. So what ends up happening is, hooray, I've finally unlocked Winter Kate. And you play as Winter Kate, and then the new tour comes out, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, if you want this thing, you're not playing as Winter Kate, you're playing as JD and Horde. And I'm constantly taken off a character I enjoy, and a character to me is very important in Gears of War. And I'm constantly taken out of modes I don't want to play. And I feel like it's intentionally annoying and grindy for people to be like, you know what, I do want that reward, but man, I don't want to kill a Horde boss today. Skip. Reroll with iron. You know what I mean? I feel like that's how it's been designed, and the tour is an okay system. I wouldn't say it's a great system. I would say, you know, like you have the battle pass in Fortnite, but that's a free game. In this, it feels like I'm been taken out of my core modes, and I'm forced to play a load of other things, and I'm forced to do things for challenges. Like, again, the character you're seeing on screen takes about, I think it said 40 hours to unlock the new characters. 40 hours of gameplay is a lot of gameplay to get the characters that you need. And then once you've finished with them, you're like, we probably want to do some tour of duty because you need to do that. And it's like this thing where you can only really seemingly work on one challenge at a time. Some have some crossover, but for the most part it's like you've got to wear the totem to unlock a certain character, and if you're wearing that totem then you're not unlocking the other character, and it just artificially inflates the grind, and it's just not enjoyable. I really hate it.
Agonize, Guardian rank, that is something that we've talked about the Guardian. If you get the leader, it's making sure that you're not punished for because you're going to go down because you're playing smart. You're not playing reckless. So that feedback is. I had a conversation about that too.
Basically, what they're saying there is, in Guardian, you're probably not, if you keep getting the leader, you're not going to get as many kills and assists and stuff, and your rank is going to be affected by that. Again, I just don't know how that isn't factored into account. When you're building a ranking system, surely you think, right, as the leader in Guardian, what is the most important thing over anything else? Surviving, right? So how about just pure survival time is one of the key factors as the leader? That's not a crazy concept to come up with. I don't understand how, like, the thought process of, oh, this guy didn't get many kills and he's the leader, his rank should go down, or they haven't thought about that the leaders should stay alive and that should increase your rank. I don't know how that hasn't crossed anybody's mind? Like, yeah, it's great that they're patching it and thinking about it, but how did this not cross anybody's mind?
For us to be able to come out and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this. What do you guys think about that? That is a valid piece of feedback.
Yep.
However, it becomes a bit of a slippery slope where we also don't want the game to be designed by committee, by the community, not because you guys don't know what you're doing, but because the priority of one person is not necessarily the priority of another person. If someone like Octus, who basically plays every mode, well, you play it Horde the least, but you play a lot of Escape and you play a lot of Versus.
Yeah, less Versus recently because time. But
Yeah. I fundamentally play only Versus. I play a little bit of Escape and I don't play a lot of Horde. We're both going to give feedback, and it's important for us to be able to go and take those feedback and in there. And also, by us taking the feedback, we are incorporating that into the solutions before they are set into stone.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, a guy called B Chaps, who I think is a Reddit moderator. I think he's a Reddit moderator. You can already tell that they're treating him with a little bit more respect than the average question coming in, because they obviously know the person. That question is very, very fair. Why are they creating the Tour of Duty, releasing the Tour of Duty, and then saying, actually, yeah, you're right, there is a lot of problems with it, here's what we're going to fix? Instead, if they took the approach of what would you like in a Tour of Duty, what could you tolerate, what would you enjoy, and then create a Tour of Duty around what the community wants, it would be very well received. Their response is pretty much, you don't have the data to know what is good or bad. You don't have the game developer knowledge. You don't have professional knowledge. And we don't want the game to be designed by the community, by committee, were his exact words. That's kind of worrying, because isn't that kind of what you want the game to be designed around? The fact that your community love it? Is that not like one of the key fundamentals of having a happy game, is having a happy community? Now, I understand that you can't make everybody happy. And yeah, they're right. Somebody that plays a lot of Horde might want more Horde challenges than multiplayer. But if you take this feedback on board and you ask people what do you want to see in the next tour before it's created, yeah, you will get some people asking for Horde and you will get some people asking for multiplayer, etc. But overall, you'll get an overall consensus of what people want. And then you can come to a balance. Maybe it's the token is complete 50 waves of Horde or complete 100 waves of Versus or something like that, right? For a big medal. I'm just making ideas up, but I'm pretty sure the community could come up with an idea. And this seems to be a theme of this podcast, or I guess developer stream, that, yeah, that's a nice bit of feedback, we'll pass it on to the team, but you're not a professional, you don't have the data. And yeah, they're right, I'm not a professional, I don't have the data, but I've got a lot of data in my mind about the amount of games I've played of Gears of War. Like, I've played this game a long time, and I really do like it, but it's really pushing me away at the moment.
To remember is that, like, scrapping this game is not designed to be the same way it is in 4. It's just about to, like, supply. You're meant to get everything, and most people will get most stuff through supply organically, and then supply is there to give you the option to turn drops that aren't of value to you, i.e. dupes, into something specific, or to craft your totems. It's not like that's all it exists for. It's like it's an extra bonus thing. If you've played Overwatch, it's kind of a similar system, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for the feedback around.
You can't compare this game to Overwatch. Overwatch is one of the most rewarding games I've played. Every single level, you get a loot box, and you get some really good skins. I've not paid a dime extra in Overwatch, and I've got so many golden guns, legendary skins, pink skins, voiceovers. Honestly, yeah, Overwatch is one of the most rewarding games I've ever played. You can't compare Gears 5 to Overwatch, and if anybody's played that game, they'll know what I'm talking about. They say that scrap in this game is different to 4, and scrap in this game is meant to be, you know, once you've got a little bit of extra scrap, you can go into the shop and pick something out that you want, but that's not true. In Gears, I had so much scrap and so much stuff that I could get rid of and you know, vendor and create scrap. I had so many skins in the shop that I could go and create with scrap. My inventory on Gears 4 is absolutely filled with skins, and I only played for the last month of Gears 4, and I have emulsion snipers, I've got glowing trippy Nasher, trippy shotgun, I've got so many skins on that game. I've played Gears 5 for more, and I've got actually no skins. I've got white skins, that's it, that I got through the Tour of Duty, which I grinded for, and I really don't even like the skin. and you know, I just wear it because, oh god, it's the only skin I've got, you know. Whereas in Gears 4, I felt like I did have a choice of what skin I could dip into and purchase. But this, again, I feel like it's just been created, so it's like, you don't like the Tour of Duty skins, like it or lump it, you're going into the shop and purchasing with money.
Okay. Can we get 2 different loadouts for Swarm and Cog? That is a popular request, medium request. We can pass that on. It is a bit of design work, but it's obviously not a higher priority right now for the team, but that is something that is on the list of feedback that we have.
A feature from Gears of War 4 where you could create a certain loadout if you became a Swarm member or a Locust member and a Cog member. This is not included in Gears 5. It is seemingly down the list. They've passed it on, but it's down the list of importance, as he says. So even a feature that used to be in Gears 4 is now not in the game, and it's not really a primary focus of theirs.
Can character locks in PvE mode be removed? Oh, yeah, okay. Action around that is...
Alright, I've already listened to this answer, so I'll tell you. The reason why you can't play as the character you enjoy in Horde is because they think that the game will be broken in balance. If you have 5 JDs all firing Lancer rockets, or 5 bleed people all making enemies bleed, then the game will be too easy. It'll break the balance of the game, and they don't want that. That makes sense. But what you could do is have a class backpack, and that is, you're not selecting the character's skin, you're selecting the character's backpack, and you could then pick Marcus, but he would have to have one of the other classes. So let's say JD. I'm not too familiar with Horde. Let's say Del, right? Let's say you've got Del. He's the engineer, and he has the engineer's backpack. What you could do is then pick Kate and give her the engineer's backpack, but then somebody else could play as Del, and it would say, oh well, you can't have 2 engineers, and then you would pick Del with the sniper backpack. What they're saying is that for new players and people, it's very, very confusing, because they go into Horde, and if you see a Del, you go, oh, he's the engineer, right? Or that's Caitlyn, she does this, or that's, so and so and so forth. They're saying that if they change that system, it will be really confusing to people. But I feel like it wouldn't, because you'd quickly realise if you have a brain cell, oh look, like Caitlyn is mending stuff, she must be the engineer, right? I think, again, it's just a limitation. It kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it just limits player choice. Like, you can play Horde, but you can never play as your favourite character. So if you absolutely love Horde and you wanted to play as Marcus all day, if Marcus isn't the class that you play, you never play Marcus, and that's, to me, a problem.
About the grind for new characters, I don't want to play Horde or Escape, just play ranked for new characters. So fair feedback is one of the parts of feedback we're talking about, especially from versus players, is if you don't like to dabble in other modes or play other modes, how you're feeling about that, and that's something we've been representing to the team.
Does anybody believe this? Am I just an absolute massive cynic? I feel like when they say something like, oh, multiplayer guys are pissed off because they're forced to be in Horde, but then everything else they talk about is like, we want people to dabble in other modes, we want people to have different experiences, we want people to experience Escape. I don't feel like there will be a big change that you're hoping for. I think it's always going to make you dabble in different game modes, and that's just a philosophy that TC have got. Also, yeah, I've skipped about 20 minutes because it was all Escape questions like, is the bleed ability going to be changed? The matriarch can now be not shot in the head, and now it doesn't bleed, this blah blah blah. Could this character have a different escape class? Could this character be tweaked? Could this ability be tweaked? There's a lot of escape stuff which I don't really think a lot of people are that interested in from my channel, so I just skipped over it. So there it is. That's my first gameplay developer commentary / review. It actually took roughly 3.5 hours, maybe 4.5 hours by the time I've finished editing, uploading, probably 5 hours. So if you enjoyed my little comments and my feedback and my viewpoint on it, please give it a like and a subscribe. If you want to go one step further, there are ways to support through Twitch Prime. You can just directly donate in the link in the description. The reason I asked this is because Machinima screwed me over all my money. AdSense doesn't work for me. This is just a passion thing. So if you want to support it and you like it and you want to go a step further and buy me a coffee, that's appreciated. Obviously, it's not expected and it's not at all forced upon you. I'm not TC. My system's fine. I will continue to do it. If you want to go a step further and support, you can do. I'm not going to lock the videos behind a grind system. Don't worry. You're not going to have to reach Rent Guardian to find my next video. But yeah, there's ways to support me. Links in the description. I don't know if this video was interesting or not. If it is interesting, I could do another one. If it was super bloody boring, then just tell me, bro, don't do this. So yeah, I'm just trying to do content that other people aren't doing. So yeah, thanks for watching.